Welcome back to Movie Moshow. Today we are going to review the science fiction series, Andor. If you like our content, don't forget to like and subscribe. We post multiple times daily. Spoilers ahead. On the developed planet of Morlana 1, 5 years before the Battle of Yavin, Cassian Andor searches for his missing sister. Two officers confront Cassian while he is doing his investigation. A fight breaks out, and Cassian accidentally kills one cop while killing the other. On the planet Ferrix, he makes an effort to conceal his involvement by persuading his friend Brasso, Marva, her robot B2 Emo, and his adopted mother Marva to speak on his behalf. Cassian requests that his friend Bix put him in touch with a black market buyer since he has a Starpath unit, an important piece of Imperial navigational equipment. Bix contacts the buyer after agreeing. Tim, Bix's boyfriend, is wary of Andor in the meanwhile. The top security inspector of Morlana 1 decides to conceal the killings in order to strengthen his report to the Imperial authorities. Cyril Karn, his obedient deputy, is determined to crack the case, though. The fugitive is from the planet Kenari, he discovers after recognizing Cassian's ship and tracking it to Ferrix. In a flashback, a teenage Cassian who goes by the name of Kassa joins a group of people on Kenari who are searching for a crashed ship. When his younger sister tries to join the quest, Kassa turns her away, leaving her in their tribe camp. Tim, who is still dubious about Bix and Cassian's connection, informs Pre-More Security, who issues a warrant for Cassian's arrest. To capture Cassian, Karn works with Sergeant Linus Mosk, a similarly obedient Pre-More cop. The warrant is disclosed to Cassian and Marva via B2 Emo. Getting ready to leave the planet, Cassian. While this is going on, Luthen Rael, Bix's buyer, goes to Ferrix to get the Starpath unit. In a flashback, Kassa and his other tribe members find the crashed ship beside a sizable abandoned industrial strip mining facility, where they explore it. The tribe kills the assailant and flees the crash site after one of their number is slain by a member of the wrecked ship's crew. Kassa sticks around to look about the ship. When Luthen reaches Ferrix, he meets Cassian in a closed-down factory. In addition, Karn and Mosk show up with a dozen security guards. Marva is confronted but won't comply. Karn determines Cassian's whereabouts by intercepting a message from Cassian to B2 Emo. Cassian wants to leave Ferrix and sell the Starpath unit. However, pointing to Cassian's track record of successfully robbing and damaging Imperial ships, Luthen tries to convince him to join his rebel network. The two men flee to a speeder hangar during Karn's officers' raid on the plant, where they capture Karn. Bix hurries to help Cassian when he learns of Tim's treachery, but he is stopped by the police. Tim tries to step in, but is slain. Brasso sabotages and destroys the pod the security officers arrived in. While Karn and Mosk ask to be evacuated, Luthen and Cassian flee the planet. In a flashback, Kassa is discovered by Marva and her husband Clem while searching the wreckage of the ship on Kenari. Marva chooses to bring him along because she fears what would happen to him if the Republic found out they were there. Cassian is taken to the planet Aldhani by Luthen, who invites him to participate in a robbery mission there. Cassian initially balks but ultimately concurs. When Luthen invites him to adopt a nom de plume among the rebels, Cassian opts for Clem. The rebel group's leader, Vel, introduces him to the others while keeping Luthen's participation a secret. They explain to Cassian that they want to rob an important Imperial supply hub of the payroll of an Imperial sector, and since their getaway vehicle is slow, they will use a rare natural phenomena in Aldhani's sky to get away. Senator Mon Mothma is met on Coruscant by Luthen, who is acting as an antiques merchant. They talk about the difficulties of hiding their resistance to the Empire. Karn was reprimanded and fired, and now he lives with his mother. Lieutenant Dedra Miro of the Imperial Security Bureau, ISB, is resisted by a senior officer and a colleague in her efforts to get access to and control over the Ferrix incident. When Clem on Aldhani hides his background from his fellow rebels, most of them, especially Skeen, view him with suspicion. For the intended heist, Tarmin trains Cassian and the other rebels. Cassian confesses that he is a mercenary while on his way to the Aldhani Imperial fortress. Vel makes the decision to move forward with the mission and wait until they have met their goals before dealing with Clem's background. Lieutenant Gorn, an Imperial officer and double agent, secretly supports the insurgents. Cyril is exploring new employment opportunities on Coruscant until his mother Edie Karn emasculates him. Mon Mothma starts a new humanitarian organization while juggling her daughter's and husband's growing hostility. Blevin, the ISB manager, buys a hotel to serve as the new ISB headquarters on Ferrix. The rebels are committing a series of planned heists of Imperial weapons and technology, according to his opponent Miro and her sidekick Herod. Luthen is impatiently awaiting word from Vel and her rebel team. The rebels sneak into the garrison with Gorn's help by pretending to be an escort unit for Commandant Jehold Behaz. They kidnap Behaz's family and force him to grant them access to the payroll vault in exchange for their release. They are found by Imperial forces as they load the credits onto a cargo. The ensuing firefight results in the deaths of Tarman and Gorn. Chinta can't board the ship, leaving just Cassian, Skeen, Vel, and Nemik to flee Aldhani. Nemik sustains a serious injury as he is crushed by an unsecured load of credits during takeoff. To attend to Nemik's wounds, they arrive on Fresno. Skeen suggests to Cassian that they depart and divide the pay between the two while Vel is distracted caring for Nemik. In his wrath and out of fear for his life, Cassian murders Skeen. He explains what took place to Vel and lets her know he intends to leave after collecting the sum he was promised. In accordance with Nemik's final desires, Vel gives Cassian Nemik's manifesto. As Luthen learns of the robbery and secretly rejoices, the ISB agents have gathering to plan retaliation back on Coruscant. Karn begins a new position at the Bureau of Standards on Coruscant. Colonel Wolf Yularen declares that the ISB now has greater monitoring and punitive power, and Miro is called out by Blevin for violating procedure by gaining unauthorized access to Imperial data. She convinces her superiors of the worth of her work and is given charge of Ferrix. As Cassian is aware of Luthen's identity, Clea, Luthen's assistant, orders Vel to track down and kill Cassian. Mon Mothma visits with her longtime friend and banker Tay Kolma and requests his assistance in getting access to family wealth. Cassian discovers that people hold him responsible for the Imperial security crackdown when he returns to Ferrix to settle old debts. Cassian is reminded of how his adopted father, Clem, was killed by Imperial clone troopers at a protest on Rix Road by the presence of stormtroopers on Ferrix. Marva rejects the growing Imperial presence and resists Cassian's attempts to persuade her to leave Ferrix with him. In Niamos, a tropical tourist haven, Cassian travels under the alias Keef Gergo. Later, when he was heading towards a nearby store, he was wrongfully detained by a shore trooper and given a 6-year prison term. Cassian is taken to a jail on Narkina 5 that is completely submerged in water, where he spends each day laboring in a dull factory with a large number of other prisoners. To find him, Vel and Chinta go to Ferrix. Bix tries to get in touch with Luthen concerning Cassian's whereabouts when Marva becomes unwell, but Luthen stays silent out of fear of being discovered by anyone listening in on communications. Then he departs from Coruscant to see Saw Gerrera. Rael tries to recruit Gerrera's rebel group to provide air support for an anti-Krager planned strike on an Imperial power plant at Spellhouse, but is rejected. Cyril Karn is questioned by Dedra Miro about his experiences on Ferrix, but she rejects his offer to assist with her inquiry. She dispatches a squad to Ferrix, where she captures Bix. Bix is subjected to torture by Dedra Miro and Dr. Gorst, an Imperial scientist who suspects Cassian may have been involved in the Aldhani attack. They receive no information about Luthen from Bix. A rebel pilot from Krager's crew is captured by the ISB, who learns that a Spellhouse power plant is going to be raided. Reunited with Vel, who turns out to be her cousin, Mon Mothma advises her to keep a low profile and maintain her pretense of being a wealthy, politically disengaged young woman. Mon and Tay Kolma keep on their secret fundraising for rebel activities. Olaf, an older member of Cassian's prison work crew, is put to death by Dr. Raciv after having a stroke and being incapable of performing his job. Dr. Raciv verifies a distressing story for Cassian and floor supervisor Kino Loy. A prisoner who had served out his term was put to labor on a separate level rather than being released, leading the jail to execute all the inmates on that level to hide the error. When Cassian and Kino come to the realization that the prison will never let them leave, Kino agrees to take part in Cassian's escape plan. Cassian disables the security system of his work floor by bursting a water pipe and flooding it, allowing the workers to overpower the few guards and flee. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe.